Hello and welcome to the 5th stop in our Whistle Stop Tour series. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Nikki Johnson, Executive Director of the Small Grain Growers Association. Today we are filming in sunny Onslow County at a farm. I'm here with Dr. Angela Post, Melissa Huffman, and Della King to discuss the topic of feed grain management. We hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you find it useful and helpful to your farming operation. Today's video will be posted on our website at ncwheat.com as well as our Facebook page at NC Small Grain Growers. And so please be sure to share those videos, watch them, let us know what you think. And as always, if there's anything that we can do to help, please let us know. Thank you and enjoy today's video from the comfort of your own home.
Hi, I'm Della King. I'm with North Carolina Cooperative Extension. I'm the field crops agent in Duplin County. The field we're standing in today is located along the Onslow and Duplin County lines. It's located in the Back Swamp and Cypress Creek communities. This part of the state is very diverse in agriculture. In this area we produce a lot of hay for livestock, a lot of grain including corn, wheat, soybeans, as well as some peanuts, cotton, tobacco, and also some commercial horticulture as well. Agriculture is very important in this part of the state. It's very important to the state as a whole. We thrive on agriculture. It's our #1 entity to provide for everyone in the world, not only locally. We're glad you're able to come out today, even though you're having to do it virtually from your home or your office because of the COVID-19 situation we're currently addressing. So we hope you enjoy what you learned today and can take it to heart to help implement it in your operation.
Hey everybody, I'm Melissa Huffman. I'm the Field Crops and Livestock Agent with Onslow County Cooperative Extension. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this farming operation. I actually live right next door to the farmer, so when he expressed some interest in our warm winter that we've had this past year and the effects that it's had on wheat growth, he really wanted to try some plant growth regulators. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to compare a couple different options, applying a plant growth regulator earlier in the season versus maybe just mowing the plot to see what kind of yields we would get at the end of the season. Gerald Mobley is a grower. He's actually in Duplin County, but aside from growing corn, soybean, and wheat on this farm here, he also has cattle and hogs. He grows oats for hay production, and he also has Bermuda grass in the area. So he farms on both sides of the county, so whenever he was interested in the plot, I thought it would be a great opportunity to reach out to the Duplin County crops agent and see if she wanted to join in and help me out with this project. So I hope you all enjoy the tour, and please check back with us later on whenever we're able to harvest some of the data from here.
Hey, it's Ryan Heiniger again to talk to you about the variety that we have out here. This grower planted USG 3536. Very good choice for his operation. It's a high yielding variety. It's a top yield group back in on the 3-year data. Came off a little bit in 2-year data and was a little bit further down in 1-year data, but overall has had pretty good consistency for yield. It's a medium early variety and it's OND. Now, in the past we've talked about wheat maturity in terms of early, medium, and late, but we've worked in the last couple of years to assign a GDU value to that maturity, just like we do with corn and like we kind of sort of do with maturity group in soybeans. So for this one, it takes 2,410 growing degree units to get to fully headed wheat out in this field. So that for us is a medium early. Along with that, this line has really good disease package. It's got good resistance against leaf rust, powdery mildew, and high tolerance against head scab. In fact, one of its calling cards is its tolerance against head scab, and that's probably why this grower chose it. One thing we want to look out for this variety, we're starting to see that in this field out here, is its resistance to stagnospora. You think of it as stagnospora nodorum blotch, or gloom blotch when it gets on the head. You can see it started to come in at the lower canopy, has gotten onto the flag leaf, and has started to get into the heads out in this field. Generally, a flag leaf application of fungicide will take care of that type of disease, but it is something to look out for this variety.
I'm Dr. Angela Post, and we're out here today on the Duplin Onslow County Line taking a look at some feed grain wheat. The grower here has a target for this to go to feed grains because he already has livestock in his operation. And whether or not he feeds that on his farm or takes it to the local elevator, all of the wheat that you see here and much of the wheat in the surrounding area is going to go to feed grains because we have so much livestock in the greater region. So there are hogs, cattle, and poultry, and all of them have a high demand for feed grains. We had a very warm winter here, and a lot of folks were worried about the growth of their wheat very early on in late December and January. If they had planted on time, they were seeing that wheat start to take off, fill out vegetatively, and maybe even look a little too tall for their liking. And so this grower wanted to take a look at a couple of options for decreasing the height of that wheat or decreasing the biomass and still make a good grain crop. So we wanted to compare here a palisade treatment, which is a plant growth regulator, as well as a mowing treatment, which is a less common method of reducing biomass or reducing height in small grains, but definitely an option in a winter like we had this year. So for this particular field, we had 3 tons of turkey litter that was applied, and we also had residual nitrogen potentially from the previous corn crop. So a lot of nitrogen present, meaning we're going to have quick growth, high tillering, and high vegetative growth throughout that season. For demonstration purposes, we took this grower's field and divided it into thirds. One of those thirds received no treatment except for the top dress, and the middle treatment received 7 ounces of palisade on March the 2nd, and the third treatment was mowed on February the 3rd. At that time, it was about 9 inches tall, and it was mowed at a height of 5 inches. So at that point, we also would have either just barely been jointed or not quite jointed yet. So at a 5-inch mowing height, we would have protected that growing point and not had any issue with decreasing yield from the mowing. The top dress at this location was applied on the same date as the palisade, and all plots received the same top dress of 57 pounds of additional nitrogen. So what we're going to take a look at here today is what were the impacts of the treatments that we applied. Did we get height reductions? Did we get grain head reductions or potential yield reductions based on any of the treatments that we applied? So we're going to take a look first at the 0 treatment. So it received no palisade and it received no mowing, but it did receive all of the top dress that each of the other treatments received. So again, 57 pounds of additional nitrogen in mid-March. The yield prediction for the no treatment plot is 61.3 bushels per acre. This is a respectable yield for this part of the state. Generally, growers would be looking for the state average all the way up to 55 to 65 bushels would be great yields for this area. In addition to that, we have a grain head height of 42 inches for this particular plot, which is fairly tall wheat. So we want to be on the lookout for high wind events coming up over the next several weeks as we move towards harvest, because very tall wheat, especially when we have heavy grain heads, can start to lay down on us. If we then move into the 7-ounce palisade treatment, we did have a height reduction in this particular plot, 39 inches compared to 42 inches in our non-treated. So a 3-inch reduction in height by making that early application of a half rate of palisade. We also had a lower yield prediction in this plot of 54.7 bushels per acre, and generally this would be due to the fact that palisade can inhibit some of those spring tillers from coming on and filling out. The advantage of having the palisade, even when that occurs, is that if we do get wind events that lay any of this wheat down, those plots that received the palisade treatment will likely remain standing and be easier for picking. Now if we look at the mowing treatment, again that mowing was applied on February the 3rd to 9-inch tall wheat to reduce its height down to 5 inches and to reduce biomass. We saw a very similar height reduction in this treatment, 39.5 inches at our head heights, so we had a 2.5-inch reduction in height compared to no treatment. And this is the target that the grower is going for, trying to get a reduction in height and also still make an equivalent grain yield. For this particular treatment, we see a 63.7 bushels per acre, so just a tick higher than what we're seeing in the no treatment applied, but really no significant difference there if we were to look at it in a statistical way. Overall, in this field, the grower was able to accomplish part of his goal already. With the warm winter we had, he had a target of decreasing the biomass and decreasing the height of this wheat and maintaining a similar yield across the different treatments. And we were able to do that in this case. One of the other issues we want to cover here in the field today is Staganospora nodorum blotch, or gloom blotch. We're starting to see that come into the field. It has come on very quickly, and I am seeing it in other parts of the state as well. It's already in the lower canopy, up on the flag leaves, and on the glooms here in this field. So we'll take a closer look at what those disease lesions look like on the two different parts of the canopy and the glooms. It really is a disease that does well in cooler, wet conditions, which is what we've had over the past several weeks. And we can see that susceptible wheat varieties are really getting hit hard with this disease over the last several days to a week. And I expect that to continue over the next several days. If we take a look at leaves that are affected by SNB, we're going to see lesions, especially at the leaf tips, where leaf tips look like they've been burned back. And then there'll be lesions all through the leaf that are kind of tan in color with yellow margins. And then as the disease progresses, you'll see dark spots in the middle of those tan lesions. If we move up and take a look at the grain head, we will see gloom blotch, as it's appropriately named, causing lesions on the glooms of the seed head. And these can be reddish or purplish in color. In this case, they look almost black with some tan clearings as well. If we're seeing this disease both on the flag leaf and also in the grain head, we will see an inhibition in our ability to reach test weight and yield potential for this particular variety. Generally, for this disease, you would make a protective fungicide application near the flag leaf stage of growth. There are many products available, and many of them have excellent ratings against SNB or gloom blotch, and those would be the products you'd want to select from. An important consideration is the time that you have to wait between the application and harvest, or the pre-harvest interval. On the label, it's going to show up as a PHI. Many of the products that we would use for SNB have a 30-day PHI, and some have a PHI as long as 45 days. At this point in the season, we do not have that amount of time between now and harvest. An application isn't feasible for us to stay within the limits of the label. In this field, we have quite a bit of ryegrass, and this particular field was not treated for ryegrass control. One thing the grower could do to remove some of this ryegrass at the time of harvest is to increase his fan speed so that more of that ryegrass seed is blown out the back, because it should be a little bit lighter weight than the wheat itself. It also can be cleaned up at the elevator after delivery, or it could go to a seed cleaner between leaving the grower's farm and making it to the elevator. These are the options that you have at the time of harvest.